Stu Boyd.
Here.
Denise Chapman.
Here.
Lori Goebel.
Here.
Don Kirk. Alexandra Lessem.
Here.
Nancy Rumfeld.
Here.
Mike Scholl.
All right. Agenda item 1.3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Nancy, will you lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, justice for all. Agenda item 1.4 is the mission statement, and Denise, will you share that with us, please?
The Thompson School District will be a school district that empowers, challenges, and inspires students, faculty, staff, parents, school leaders, and community members to learn, achieve, and excel.
Thank you, Denise. Agenda item 2 is the adoption of the agenda. I'd entertain a motion and a second to adopt the agenda.
I move. A second.
All right, motion from Nancy was the second. Okay, from Dawn. All right. Any discussion? Let's proceed to the vote then. Laura Lee, please call the roll.
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman. Lori Goebel.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem. Nancy Rumfeld.
Aye.
All right. So the adoption of that agenda item passed 6-0. We'll move to section 3, which is public participation. Dr. Heller, I'll turn it over to you for awards and recognition.
Thank you, President Boyd. We have three leaders to introduce tonight, two of which you know, but they are now leading in new roles for the Thompson School District. We're going to start off with Keisha Martin, our newest principal at Ferguson High School and Thompson Career Campus. Keisha has been named the principal of Ferguson High School and the Thompson Career Campus. For the past 3 years, Ms. Martin has served as the assistant principal at FHS TCC. She began her career as a middle school autism resource teacher in Albuquerque Public Schools. Upon her relocation to Colorado, she transitioned to secondary work and became the resource teacher for the Effective Needs program at Mountain View High School. Ms. Martin's career roles include service at Windsor High School as a special education resource teacher and as an autism interventionist for Thompson School District. She later joined the FHS TCC community as a dean of students before later becoming the campus assistant principal. Ms. Martin earned a bachelor's degree in liberal arts elementary education from Wheeling Jesuit University. She also holds a master's of arts in education, administration, and supervision from the University of Phoenix. Keisha, welcome.
I can't say enough about the excitement, the absolute blessing it feels to have this investment in myself as being able to transition from my previous roles as dean and the assistant principal and continue serving in this capacity now as the principal. I am just beyond excited. Ferguson and TCC feels like home. Today felt like home. The students were wonderful. Staff have been wonderful. And it's just been an overwhelming feeling of gratitude this whole summer and pure excitement to continue to serve Thompson School District and Ferguson and TCC. So I want to thank you all very much.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Keisha before we let her off the hook? All right.
Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Okay, next up is a leader that's new to our system. I'd like to welcome up Lori Joseph, the principal for Lorene Edmondson Elementary School. So Mrs. Joseph served as the principal of Jeffco Public Schools Patterson International, which is an international baccalaureate Title I school. In total, she has more than 20 years of experience in public education across the United States and the United Kingdom. Ms. Joseph describes herself as an equity-driven instructional leader who is committed to creating inclusive, student-centered learning communities where every child can thrive. Throughout a career spanning classroom teaching, district-level leadership, assistant principalship, and elementary principalship, she has successfully led culturally and linguistically diverse schools through collaborative leadership, restorative practices, strong family partnerships, and data-driven systems that accelerate student growth and achievement. Ms. Joseph has earned a Bachelor of Arts in English and Drama from the University of Roehampton, United Kingdom, with an endorsement in Linguistically Diverse Education, ESL, from Regis University. She also holds a Master of Arts in Curriculum and Instruction from the University of Phoenix and a Master of Education in Educational Leadership from Regis University. Lori, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, and Dr. Heller. And I just want to say how excited I am to take this role and to be here in Thompson School District. And I have felt so welcomed, since my first day here. Thank you for your faith in me. And I am really enjoying starting the year. We had kindergarten students come in for the first day today. We had back to school night and ice cream this week. And Lorraine Edmondson is a wonderful community that already feels like home. So I'm very excited and very invested in the district, and really happy to serve the community, and looking forward to spending many years here. So thank you very much.
Congratulations and
Thank you.
welcome. Board members?
Okay, finally, we have another familiar face, Amy Gerhardt, our new Director of Early Childhood. Mrs. Gerhardt's dedication to the Thompson School District spans 3 decades. She first joined the district as an early childhood special education teacher, later sharing her expertise as an instructional coach. For the past 7 years, she has served as an assistant administrator for the district's early childhood program. Amy earned a bachelor's degree in early childhood development and elementary education from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. She also holds a Master's of Arts in Early Childhood Special Education from the University of Northern Colorado. She completed the Principal Licensure Program at Colorado State University and is a recent graduate of the Distinguished Head Start Fellows Program at the University of California, Los Angeles, Anderson School of Management. Amy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, and Dr. Heller. I cannot say enough. I have dedicated my whole career to the families and the children and just the district and the program. And so to be able to serve in this way is it's just a wonderful experience. I'm so excited. I couldn't be more passionate about this program in this district and the children and families we serve. So I look forward to serving in this new role and working with all of you. As you know, I will be visiting you frequently. So
Congratulations, Amy, on your
Thank
new role. Board?
That's it.
That's it. All right. Agenda item 3.2 is public comment. Dawn, would you read the prefatory statement, and then we'll move on into public comments.
Because the board wants to hear the viewpoints of the public and also needs to conduct its business in an orderly and efficient manner, it will schedule time during its regular board meetings for brief comments and questions from the public. The board will set a time for public participation prior to the business portion of the meeting. The time for each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and each individual will only be recognized once. If there is a large number of speakers, the board may elect to take comments for 1 hour before the business meeting and conclude public comment after the business meeting. Public comments and questions at a regular meeting may deal with any topics related to the board's conduct of the schools. Speakers may offer such criticism of school operations and programs as concern them, but are encouraged to exercise their speech rights responsibly. Speakers' remarks should be suitable for an audience that includes kindergarten through 12th grade students. Personnel matters will be discussed in executive session. Finally, as a reminder to all present, the board and staff do not respond to public comment. This is our opportunity to hear from students, parents, and patrons. The board may discuss public comments later in the agenda or on future agendas. First up, we have Jeff Mead.
Mead, the Jedi Knight of P-Flag Fort Collins. JEDI stands for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and tonight I'd like to speak about inclusion. I spent 12 years teaching middle and high school and international schools across Africa, and have seen firsthand the importance of creating an inclusive classroom. A classroom teacher is not just an educator disseminating knowledge, but rather a role model of how to fairly interact with and respect other people. My international students came from all over the world, had different skin tones, spoke different languages, and worshiped various gods. However, Africa is not known for being accepting of the LGBTQ community, so my classroom became a safe space where teens could present their authentic selves. And that space mattered. It meant the world that a young person who has to hide their identity could be themselves in my classroom. And what mattered most was that I saw them for who they were, and I respected them for being that person. I used their desired pronouns, and in doing so, normalized their true selves to everyone else in class. As we begin this new school year, I want to remind the board that Thompson School District advocates for a student-centered learning model emphasizing 4 characteristics: integrity, respect, relationships, and continuous improvement. Tonight, I'd like to speak about respect. Respect is discussed in Thompson's strategic plan in Focus Area 2, Inclusive and Supportive Culture. Respect as a primary element of student learning means supporting every student regardless of race, ethnicity, religious affiliation, or sexual orientation. Thompson School District has both students and teachers who are members of the LGBTQ community, and they deserve a safe space to learn, work, and teach. Personal opinions or faith perspectives that stifle or attack individual identity are detrimental to creating that safe space, and students, teachers, parents, and board members actively working against such a policy should be held accountable. You cannot talk out of both sides of your mouth on creating inclusive environments. Students and teachers are relying on you to make decisions that respect them and promote a culture of acceptance. So as we launch a new school year, let's remind ourselves of the core values that Thompson School District revolves around: integrity, respect, relationships, and continuous improvement. Thompson School District's website states that, quote, "These values are not just words, they are a compass for every decision, every action, and every interaction across Thompson School District," unquote. As the greatest of all teachers, Yoda once
Your time is
said,
up.
"Do or do not, there is no try."
Time
You
is
cannot
up.
try to create inclusive schools. You have to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Danny.
and may the force be with you.
Danny Lawrence. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I misread the clock. That is my bad. I really thought it was over, not under. I apologize, Jeff. That was my mistake. Yeah, sorry. Danny Lawrence, you're up next. And now I know how to read the clock. Sorry, Jeff.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Danny Lawrence. In Northern Colorado, I work as a disability advocate for children and families navigating the public education system. And for several years, I've attended IEP and 504 meetings in your districts for families needing support. After what I witnessed in May and dealt with over the summer, I felt compelled to come here tonight and make a public promise. You see, I too have a student with a disability. My son is visually impaired and just graduated from PSD. In the 13 years it took to educate him, we went to due process 5 times, spent nearly $60,000 in legal fees, and wrote more state and federal complaints than you can count. I have been speaking at Board of Education public meetings twice monthly for 5 years in Poudre School District, trying to bring some community awareness to Fort Collins. Protecting these families comes from a personal place for me. And what I saw in May, I can't unsee, and it haunted me all summer. I saw a school district bullying a single mother who had to have legal counsel to be at the table. And it was absolutely misogynistic, done by men and male staff, completely intended to bully, harass, and manhandle a single mother to force her and her son from the school district. And it is not the first time I've seen it. I watched it happen last school year to another mother with a visually impaired child. It seems that it's now an intentional strategy for TSD when civil rights are asserted. You clearly have an ADA compliance issue here, and frankly, we're lucky to get off as easy as you did, in my opinion. But I'm not going to allow this retaliatory harassment that I've been witnessing to continue for vulnerable mothers. And if you are a female board member, I think it's time to start paying attention if you care about your community. For the fathers of disabled students in this school district, know that your child requires you now to be at the IEP table. Take that day off of work to just simply be there to protect your child and their mother. As a board member, I would be requesting the data to see how many IEP and 504 students leave this district to homeschool, because I bet that number is astonishing and contributing to your declining enrollment. So my promise to you tonight is to be as diligent here moving forward in TSD as I have been in Poudre School District. I don't like bullies. I vow to start crowdsourcing funds needed to protect these women and their children legally from your school district, and to write for free any complaint for a disabled student who can't get help from TSD, because I've had it. And a side note, if you cared about the transparency in your community, you'd create an actual process and develop a portal for Cora requests in TSD. Since everyone knows that your communications department is behind the public shaming social media page, Thompson Reform Watch, you might want to get someone and something that is fair and impartial to get public records from. For the folks who have already claimed that I support Nancy or Moms for Liberty, I have been a registered and voting Democrat for 34 years. Nothing is farther from the truth. And just know that slander and defamation is something I am happy to pursue and already have to help children access their education. It doesn't have to be this hard, you guys. Parents are the enforcement entity of IDEA, not by choice. So quit being so butthurt about it and just start training your staff. And thank you again. I will see you in September.
Kala Pot.
Good evening. My name is Cal Pye. I want to say thank you to the board president, board members, Dr. Heller, for the opportunity for open comment. As I said, my name is Cal Pye. I am the state director for Odyssey of the Mind, and I actually reside in Fort Collins, and have been involved with Odyssey of the Mind since 2000, I want to say, in some form or fashion as a parent, coach, etc. OM has been in Colorado for over 4 decades now. You may wonder what Odyssey of the Mind is. It is an after-school creative problem-solving program. Teams choose one of 6 different problems to solve over the course of the season, and they present their solution in an 8-minute performance. Each problem has a different flair, from vehicles to technical to interpretation of classics, balsa structure, a humorous performance, and one even dedicated to those kindergarten through 2nd grade to introduce them to the program. Through Odyssey of the Mind and participation in the program, children develop those critical thinking skills, creative problem solving, teamwork, collaboration, communication, and many STEAM 21st century skills, as well as developing their growth mindset. More importantly, they have fun, and they don't even realize that they're learning through the process, which is a wonderful thing. Thompson School District had been actively involved with Odyssey of the Mind up until 2014, at which time they went with a group of people who split from Odyssey of the Mind in the early 2000s. While participating in Odyssey of the Mind, Thompson School District had 12 or more schools actively involved with 20 to 30 teams. Since joining the other program, participation has decreased significantly and is now down to 4 schools and 6 teams as of 2026. Meanwhile, participation in Odyssey of the Mind has continued to grow. One reason may be the cost, which is on everybody's mind these days with district funding challenges. For just one team is a 33% increase to participate in the other program over OM. It's $550 in the other program for one team, is $365 in Odyssey of the Mind. For 3 teams, it is a 68% increase. $1,650 for 3 teams to participate versus $515 in Odyssey of the Mind. I think you get the idea. The reason for these increases is that the other program fee is per team, whereas Odyssey of the Mind membership is per school, where each school or community group can field up to 5 to 8 teams for only 1 membership fee. I hope in these challenging financial times, Thompson School District would reevaluate their relationship with the other program and consider returning to Odyssey of the Mind for the sake of the kids' participation, the financial impact on families, and the requirements for teams to travel further than is necessary. I thank you for your time. And I have literature here. May I give this to the board secretary? Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Joanna Johnson, and I am a TSD parent, volunteer, committee member, and community member. My address is P.O. Box 7062, Loveland, Colorado 80537, and my number is 970-669-6541. I am speaking on the topic of accessibility and discrimination. I would like to ask for an update on the status of the Big Thompson Elementary School ADA concerns. In March of 2026, I submitted a formal written concern to TSD that the Operations Department had removed the ADA parking spaces at Big Thompson Elementary School in 2019 and had not, in the 7 years since, ever replaced them. The following month, a TSD employee confided in me that a fellow professional who was a wheelchair user had repeatedly been unable to enter Big T, but that her concerns had not been addressed. This employee also shared that another individual who had to use a wheelchair due to a broken femur was no longer able to get in and out of the school building and had to move to a different school. That TSD employee who confided those things to me no longer works here. Later that month, I received a formal letter of reply from the school district. Here are some of the findings from their official report. Quote, I gathered evidence and information regarding your claims. This included meeting with the leadership of the TSD Operations Department, touring Big Thompson Elementary School with the current principal, and meeting with both our legal counsel and our external ADA consultant, end quote. Please note, this statement verifies that even when there isn't a lawsuit filed, TSD is still paying legal fees for ADA violations. The report also states, quote, per ADA guidelines, the facility lacks ADA parking, end quote. Despite there being no ADA access to the entire school, the TSD decision maker concluded, quote, I have determined that the claim and associated allegations do not meet the standards established by TSD policy regarding discrimination, quote. If all women or all atheists or all Hispanic persons were denied access to a TSD school for 7 years, would this also be a finding of not discrimination? I doubt it. I don't know of any other protected classes who would be treated this way. The official report continues, quote, nevertheless, your feedback regarding Big Thompson Elementary.
That's all.
That's it. All right. We'll move to agenda item number 4, which is the action consent items. Let me read the list first, and then we'll talk a little bit about procedure from here. 4.1 is approval of minutes for regular meeting June 17, 2026. 4.2, approval of minutes for board retreat, August 4, 2026. 4.3, approval of minutes for special meeting, August 4, 2026. 4.4, approval of minutes for study session, August 5, 2026. 4.5, approval of personnel, extra duty, coaching recommendations. 4.6, approval of expenditures over $50,000. 4.7, approval of gifts and donations. 4.8, approval of State of Colorado interest-free cash flow loan program resolution. 4.9, approval of disposal of surplus property, lawn equipment. And 4.10, approval of bond project budget adjustment. Board, do you want to pull any of these 10 items for discussion and movement to discussion action?
President Boyd, I don't necessarily want to pull any of the items, if I may just make a brief comment.
Sure.
Thank you. I just want to give a thank you, a public thank you to Dr. Heller and to Ms. Rogers for the update to the personnel report, as well as a thank you to the CBOC committee for their diligence in these matters. Thank you.
All right. Board, any other comments related to the action consent items? All right. I'd entertain a motion to accept the action consent items. After the vote on this, we'll ask Nancy to read 4.7, which is the approval of gifts and donations. So a motion to accept action consent.
I'll second.
All right, did you get those, Laura? All right. Would you please call the roll?
Stu Boyd,
Aye.
Denise Chapman,
Aye.
Lori Goble,
Aye.
Don Kirk,
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem,
Aye.
Nancy Rumpfelt.
Aye.
All right. The total is 6-0. And Nancy, would you read the donation, please?
Purpose gifts over $10,000 in value shall be presented to and accepted by the Board of Education. A donation of $12,849 to Mountain View High School Performing Arts for aid in program needs from the Mountain View Music and Arts Booster Club.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 5, discussion action items. 5.1, review and approval of the First Amendment to the superintendent contract. And I'm not sure who's going to talk with us about that. Tiffany, is that you or Bob?
Sir, thank you, members of the board and Dr. Heller. We are proposing a First Amendment to the superintendent's contract for board approval today with revisions that are stated.
All right. I'll open for questions. Lori, starting with you. Any questions regarding the amendment to the superintendent's contract?
I do not have any. Thank you.
Okay, Nancy?
I guess when I first looked at the agenda, I didn't see the link, but I guess now it's there. Is there any way you could recap what the amendment ended up being, or?
Yes. So the amendment, yeah, and it was, I think, available for you guys to view from a board perspective, and then it was released today. So there are 4 furlough days that are being put into the contract regarding similar to what we have with our administrative, professional, and technical. There is also an amendment to the mileage component where there is a mileage stipend instead of a mileage reimbursement. And that's a practice that's been in place through business services for many years. There's also a revision to the cell phone stipend to a cell phone being received by the superintendent, a separate cell phone, different from his personal phone. And I think I covered.
All right.
And there is
Alexandra?
also another, sorry, there's one more
I'm sorry.
revision. I had to think there was one more revision to being able to handle the tax annuity that was in the original contract. Some language needed to be changed in order for us to submit the funding to the proper sources. So there was a language change to be able to accommodate that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, Alexandra? Okay. Denise?
I do not.
Dawn? All right. I had the opportunity to review the amendment in detail. I also talked with Dr. Heller about it, and he is amenable to the language and the content of the amendment. Anyone have a final comment or question related to that? At which point then I will entertain a motion to approve the First Amendment to the superintendent contract.
I move.
Okay. Laura Lee, did you get those? All right. Any further discussion? Would you please call the roll? Did you have discussion?
I was just going to say that we did have quite an extensive discussion on this at our executive session.
Yes.
So I think that's why the questions are very minimal. So thank you.
All right. Laura Lee?
Stu Boyd,
Aye.
Denise Chapman,
Aye.
Lori Goble,
Aye.
Don Kirk,
Aye.
Alexandra Lessem,
Aye.
Nancy Rumpfelt.
Aye.
All right. So that motion passes 6-0. We'll move to agenda item number 6, discussion items. There are no discussion items for tonight's meeting. We'll move then to number 7, which is board communication. I'll read the brief statement that introduces that. Each member of the board has the opportunity to report on events or to communicate with other board members and the community. Limit of 3 minutes per board member. And I'm going to start with Nancy.
I just hope everybody had a great summer. I know I had a very relaxing July off and did a lot of garden stuff. And then also, just a little bit of reflection. I'm entering the 6th school year since I've been on the board. And there's been a lot of changes along the way. And I think it's good that they've been positive changes. It was, I think some of us acknowledge that it was a little bumpy at first as we got used to differing viewpoints and ways of expressing and communicating with each other. But I think what I see now on the board is a well-rounded board that has lots of different viewpoints and perspectives and beliefs that really represent the entire community. And I see that most of us have really learned how to listen to each other. Doesn't mean we have to agree, but we agree with each other, but I really feel like we're just kind of coming into our own of learning how to accept, listen, and work together as a board. And sometimes we vote differently and sometimes we don't, but we still seem, to me, unified. That was not the case when I first came on the board, but I think that that's good progress. I think it says a lot about the members of this board and how we really reflect the community now. And I know that, again, change is hard and it's sometimes difficult for people to accept different views, but everyone has their own belief and positions, and I think it's good work that we've done, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Alexandra?
I don't think I have anything.
All right. Denise?
I don't have anything tonight.
All right. Dawn? Okay. Lori?
The preamble to the Colorado State Constitution. We, the people of Colorado, with profound reverence for the supreme ruler of the universe, in order to form a more independent and perfect government, establish justice, ensure tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the state of Colorado. Colleagues and community members, I was excited to see the 250-150 posting on the district website at the beginning of the month, linking to activities celebrating America and Colorado. With hopeful anticipation, I clicked on it, and sadly, that website listed nothing in TSD. In light of that, I want to offer a brief reflection on how our state was founded. In 1858 to 59, the Pikes Peak Gold Rush drew thousands to these mountains. Camps sprang up near Cherry Creek in Denver, yet even amid the scramble for riches, the gospel was proclaimed. In the fall of 1858, the first recorded Christian sermon was preached under the cottonwoods near Aurora. Rough miners gathered on logs and stumps to hear it. Soon, men and women of faith, Methodists, Catholics, Presbyterians, Congregationalists, and Baptists, circuit riders, pastors, and priests all followed, establishing churches and schools in the wilderness. They brought order, charity, and the Word of God to a raw frontier. Among these early settlers was Aunt Clara Brown, formerly an enslaved woman who arrived in 1859. She opened the first laundry in Central City, recovered gold dust from miners' clothing through hard work and thrift, and became a successful businesswoman. More importantly, she opened her home for worship, helped plant a church, taught Sunday school, and became known as the Angel of the Rockies. This was for her Christian charity. Her life reminds us that God used both men and women of faith to lay Colorado's foundations. When the Colorado Territory was organized in 1861, its first governor helped select the territorial seal and motto, Nil sine numine, nothing without the deity or nothing without providence. The framers deliberately pointed beyond human effort. When the people drafted their Constitution, they opened with the solemn words that I opened with. They sought justice, liberty, and good government under God's authority. This is Colorado history. As a school board, we inherit a public education system whose original American purpose was that children would learn to read, expressly so they could read the Bible and become virtuous, self-governing citizens. As we celebrate 150 years, may we, like those pioneers, again declare, nil sine numine, nothing without the deity, nothing without providence. May God continue to bless the Centennial State and keep her people faithful to him. Thank you.
All right. I'll conclude board communication. Along with several of my board colleagues, I was pleased to attend the new teacher orientation. Several of us lined up outside the entrance to Mountain View High School and applauded and cheered the new teachers as they entered the district. Some of the new teachers are first-year teachers, never having taught elsewhere, and others are experienced teachers who have come to Thompson School District later in their career. I was honored to have been asked to be part of the program and to share the stage with members of the superintendent's cabinet and the superintendent, who spoke briefly about what they do and what their hopes and dreams are for the Thompson School District. And I want to conclude by letting you know of a conversation I had with a gentleman whose wife is a first-year teacher in Thompson, and she's not a first-year teacher. She had taught elsewhere before the family moved here. She told her husband, who then passed this along to me, that she was so pleased with the new teacher orientation. She thought it was very well organized. She felt very well prepared and certainly very welcomed into the Thompson School District. So hats off to Tiffany Jones and other members of the cabinet who put together that very important new teacher orientation program. With that, then, we'll move to agenda item number 8, which is written reports. This evening, there are no written reports. Board, are there any requests for information, which is agenda item number 9?
I would, let's see, where did it go? Oh, Danny, when she was up here and she was talking about the number of IEP 504 students who leave to homeschool, if it's possible, if we could, the board could be provided that information as much as you can. I know there may be limitations, but I'd be curious. And the other thing is, I realize it'd be confidential, but I have no knowledge of what the incident is that she was talking about. So if anyone does, I'd like that they would share that confidential information with the board so that we have all the facts. So thank you.
Okay. Sarah, does that give you the information that you need in order to explore this? Okay, thank you. Anyone else, Lori?
On the website, we do have listed community engagement sessions for the board, and I would like to just propose that we resume that in some fashion.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes, working on wording. I'd like to see the data around the effectiveness of middle school grading and how the transition to high school goes for kids going from the meets requirements to letter grading.
All right.
Is that enough for you, Sarah?
Okay, just a second, let me catch up here with my notes. Anyone else? Any other requests for information? Any other topics? All right. Then we're ready to move to agenda item number 10, which is adjournment. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.